Welcome to Christ-Centered Gamers video game review of Commander Conquest of the Americas. It's made by Nitro Games, the same makers of East India Company. And as you can tell, it's a ship-based game. In East India Company, all the ports are already established. Well, in this game, you're establishing these ports, and you're taking colonists from your country and starting new colonies and gathering resources. And at first you start off with 50 colonists, and then you kind of build up the colonies. You add vital things like hospitals, forts, and garrisons, and then obviously the I guess refineries and buildings that you need to process the resources that you collect. I mean, you can sell and trade raw resources, but if you refine them and work with them and make them better, you get a whole lot more money. And so here's my original colony here. I got a church there. Obviously they have whales as their one of their resources, so I'm getting oil and blubber from them and exporting that out. Oh, and also each area here has like a I guess a kind of like a happiness meter. Right now these people are pretty happy right now, a 97 and 82 out of 100. You get an exclamation mark if there's something that requires your attention. A lot of times by adding more soldiers there will protect them from the natives, and then make sure your hospitals are big enough and town halls are big enough. You have courts in place, things like that. So you have to attend to their needs. Let's see here. So so your basic thing is to start colonies, populate them, protect them, and then trade with them. And ultimately you have 4 advisors who well, 3 out of 4 are overjoyed with my progress. This guy here, my trade advisor, is furious with me because I don't build ships fast enough and I don't get enough certain imports, I guess. But as long as you got most of them happy, you continue the game. If they're all upset with you, it's game over, and they'll hire somebody else. And down here are all my fleets. And when it's got the purple around it, that means I have them on automatic trade routes. Now, one of my complaints with this game is when you're setting up a trade route, it'll let you know if it's broken right away. If it's not going to work, it'll let you know. However, if you have trade routes in process, you have to constantly go in.
Ready for action, sir.
You have to constantly go into them and make sure that they're still making a profit. And
We are ready for action, sir.
yeah, see, that one's not doing. I mean, it's working, but it's not bringing in a whole lot of money.
Do you have new orders for
That
us?
one's making a lot of money. So sometimes if you notice that there's like nothing down here, you have to figure out what's going on. And by doing these trade routes, you're also bringing in colonists. Like if you look here, I have 581 colonists waiting to go from London. I'm playing Britain right now, to one of my colonies. And also you can bring soldiers back and forth as well. And there's even specialists. I mean, there's all sorts of things you can bring in. So, okay, so yeah, that's a pretty good trade route right there. As you see, I'm putting soldiers into Piper's Cove. Now, if I go to Piper's Cove, you gotta be careful. There's like this trade route will eventually break. Like I think I'm only allowed, depending on the size of your fort. Oh, actually, Piper Cove's up here. You can only have a limited amount of soldiers, so I'm going to go here and take a look at the people, and okay. So I have a pretty good room available. I can have room for 584 more soldiers, so that route's going to be good for a little while. So that's kind of like trade routes in a nutshell. And then you can also send them on.
Ready to set sail.
You can take a look at this. You could have 5 ships in a fleet, but then you can link together fleets and then make a group or a squadron. And you have different kinds of ships. You have coastal ships, and then you have oceanic ships. Now, coastal ships can only go around here from different colonies, and you cannot go back to your home world if you have a coastal ship in your fleet. I found that out the hard way. I won some ships in a battle, and I couldn't figure out why can't I go home. Well, that was why. Also, when you're building ships, you can upgrade and do some upgrades on them. It'll cost more, it'll take a little longer, but it's often worth it to, get better hit points, better maneuverability, things like that. Okay, and there's diplomacy. Right now I'm ranked number 5. And that fluctuates. I think it's because I don't have as much gold as I used to have. I spent a lot of money upgrading buildings, that's probably why. It'll show you who you're at war with, who you're in alliance with. It looks like I'm in alliance with all of them. Now, this button here, these swords, declare war. I have clicked on that accidentally a couple times, and there's no confirmation box. Are you sure you want to go to war with? That would be so nice, because once you go to war with somebody, the only way to stop it is to throw a lot of money at them to make them forget. Or to reload your game, which I've had to do. So a pop-up box would be greatly appreciated. So that's pretty much this game in a nutshell. Looks like I completed a mission. I got a new resource. I have open missions here. I got pirates. Now, one thing I missed from East India Company is I used to be able to get, I used to be able to set like a mode where I could make my ships aggressive or try to avoid, confrontation. So I don't really see that. I'm going to see if I can build some ships here. Oh, I got some ships in the making, so I got this one, my trade advisor who's infuriated with me because I don't build ships fast enough. I got got a bunch of shipyards working on it, but I don't know if it's still fast enough for it yet because you have certain time limits. There's lots of resources you can collect. Oh, and in this circle here is your sphere of influence. As I get more populated, I'll be able to branch out and get dyes as well as gold and things like that. So, and the different colors represent, allies, enemies, and so forth. But I hope you found this video game review helpful, and take care.